Flash episode 7, Power Outage. I really loved this episode. I thought it was a great emotional episode. We had some really cool moments of, not just action, but we got to see some interesting character development. Iris was her own hero in this episode. We got to see some really crazy stuff with Dr. Wells. He was like almost on the deep end in this one, and I love seeing that because we got to see him really push his, I guess evilness. I don't know, but we got to see him push his bad side a lot more in this episode, especially with the stuff with Tony, where he was like, it's a calculated risk, but really, Barry Allen is the most important thing right now. And I need you to kill this other guy or get killed because, I don't really give a crap about either of you bad guys. But that was really good in the beginning. It was really funny, and we got to see Barry as he, got so used to his powers, he got cocky about them, and he started to take them for granted. Like, we kind of do with most good things in life. It's just like you have it for a certain amount of time. It's just like, that's just the thing I have now. And if it's something that's really good, it's just like, yep, I'm just amazing because of this thing. And it was just really funny. We got to see him do stuff, and him waking up in the morning, he was still late and stuff, which was funny. And him getting robbed by the guy, and it's just like, you have no idea, but this is like the craziest thing in the world. Like, this is so funny. It's not funny to you, but it's funny to me, and it's one of the, of all the people in the city. And that was just really good. I really enjoyed that, and they got to, oddly humanize Barry, even though it's such an early episode, for the series. I mean, it's only episode 7, but I guess I didn't expect them to be doing this so soon, where Barry needed to be humanized. But in this episode, we kind of realized that it's almost been a year. Like, Dr. Wells mentions it was 311 days in the beginning of this episode, and now it's 312 by the end. But I didn't think it spanned that much time, so we get to, really hear how much time has passed, and we've seen, of course, some of the things Barry's done, where he saved certain people, and he's, run, when Plastique was blowing up in the ocean, he like ran her out there, and he was able to escape that wave, and he saved the guy by running it up and down the building, and all these really cool things that, as a human, you just wouldn't even think of as possible. So it was really cool to see Barry sort of get humanized, and he was really cocky, and then he's humanized in this episode, and he doesn't have his powers until the end. And of course, once he gets them, they kick him up a notch. It's not just, oh, he's really fast. It's he's fast, and now he's gotten to, I guess we could say, like, official Flashpoint right now, where his cells are even completely different and stuff like that. So that was really cool how they did that, and it's just, it leads to like a billion things from like the Flash universe that he can actually do now. So that was really cool that they kind of introduced that, where it's like he's kicked it up a notch officially in this episode, and he didn't just get his powers back by then. He really changed them, and he did. So at first, at the end of the episode, I thought he was doing something that's like my favorite thing of his, which is when he shifts his cells so that he can phase through things. I thought that's what he was doing, even if he couldn't control it. I thought that's what he was doing when the guy was trying to siphon his powers the second time, and I thought they were going through him. But that's not what happened, because I can't wait till they do that. But it probably won't be for a very long time, and even then, they probably won't do it where he just masters it in the beginning. But I thought that's what was happening, but unfortunately, it wasn't. But I'm still excited for them to show him, just pushing his limits, and doing stuff like the Mach 1 punch that he did before and things like that. I'm very excited to see them just kick all that stuff up, and introducing things like the Speed Forge and all that stuff, which they probably won't do for a couple of seasons, I'm sure. But that was really good, him humanizing himself and realizing what it's like to be a real hero, because even when he didn't have his powers, he went to talk to the guy, and he was like, he needed help. He changed like a lot of other people, except he woke up and his friends were dead. And it was just interesting. It was like cool to see Barry do that, and he risked himself because he is an actual hero. And they didn't touch on that word, like what it means to be a real hero or anything like that, but they showed it, and I thought it was really good that they didn't even bother acknowledging that fact. It's just like, if you're watching it, you notice, like, as cocky as Barry was, he still cares about helping people. It wasn't just, oh, I can help people because they have speed. It's that he wants to help people, and he just happened to have a tool to use it. And even if he doesn't, he's kind of been so ingrained now that as the Flash, that even if he doesn't have his speed, he wants to help people and do whatever he can. So it was really cool to have that little moment as well, where he did step up, and he was a hero, even though he didn't actually have his powers, and it was incredibly dangerous because the guy was trying to kill him. But And unfortunately, of course, he didn't end up dying, and so everything kind of worked out. But it was a great episode. We got to see the Clock King in this one. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed his portion of the episode, and I think that was definitely one of my favorite parts is the fact that the Clock King storyline was only possible because of the main storyline where Barry lost his powers, so he was, of course, stuck in one location. He couldn't run back and forth. He couldn't take out power outage and then just go and take out the Clock King like he normally would. He was stuck where he was. Everyone at the police station was stuck where they were, and they all had to figure certain things out. Eddie got shot, and I wouldn't have expected that guy to have a bulletproof vest on either. And of course, it's the CW, so of course he just got shot in the back, and that was it. So it was really interesting how that worked out. Because at first I was like, oh, he got him, and yeah, hooray, everything's solved. But then he turned around and he was like, nope, bulletproof vest. He was thinking he was smart. But I enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool, and just how everything played out. And Iris ended up, making it in the end, which I kind of expected as well. But it was really well done. I enjoyed that portion. It had its suspenseful moments with Eddie being shot and just how this guy was going to escape, or if he would escape at all, because it seemed like he was going to be fine. And of course, once Iris, was listening to Eddie and he whispered something, I was like, okay, that's going to lead to something. He has something on her, or he has something on him that she can take. And it was like, boom, ankle holster. So I enjoyed that portion, and everything I think just kind of worked out really well. And of course, it led to a really funny scene at the end with Eddie just being on drugs. I thought that was really funny. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great episode. I thought, Iris had her moment, and she doesn't exactly hate Flash. It's like, hey, whatever it was kind of super powered based stuff. So I might not comprehend it right now, but I kind of understand it. So I thought that was pretty good. She was understanding, like, hey, whatever it was, and sometimes a girl has to be her own hero. So I thought that was a pretty cool moment for her character too, just acknowledging that, like, I would have loved to have been saved without all the tension, but everything worked out. And like she says, like, hey, it was what it was. Like, if he could have been there, he would have been there. He has superpowers. He didn't just stop, like, for no reason. She knows that. So I enjoyed that for her character, and I think it was just a really good episode. Emotionally speaking, I think it was really well done. The Wells stuff, like I said, I really thought his moments were insane in this episode, because he was just trying to get Barry. It was like he was freaking out when Barry lost his powers, and he was searching the future stuff, and it had nothing to do with Barry, and that was really good to see him really, really freaking out. I love that. We got a little bit more information on, like, a couple of components, and he has like a computer system in the room called Gideon. And also the newspaper did actually change, because in the first episode it did say that Flash died, I believe, and in this one it just says that Flash vanished. So he's already changing the future. He changed it for the better, at least. So things are gradually changing piece by piece, and it of course changes based on what he does, as we saw in this episode when Barry didn't have his powers. It had nothing. It didn't show Flash at all. And once he got him back, it's they kind of did that type of thing where the future doesn't show what's gonna happen permanently. It's just like, at this point in time, this is what it looks like, and then at this point in time, this is what it looks like. So it was really cool to see that, and for the most part, everything else was the same. There were no other little hints or anything like that, except for Flash, which is of course the main point. He didn't end up dying, and he just vanishes in the future. So that a couple of hints here and there about what may or may not happen in future episodes of the season, or just future seasons in general. But I love the episode. Of course, I'm very excited for the Flash versus Arrow thing. We got to see the actual preview for that, because all they kept showing was just Flash and Arrow, and it's like, you need to calm down, and that was it. But after seeing like the whole preview, it seems like them actually fighting was more of a sparring thing. Like, they were kind of just like, hey, why don't we fight? Let's just test their skills out, and that seemed like that's what it was. But I'm sure it's gonna have much more to do with than much more than just them sparring. It's gonna have a lot more to do with them having different tactics. Like, Barry doesn't exactly shoot arrows in people and then twist them like a interrogators and stuff like that, and he doesn't have these you know memories where it's like, yep, I was on this island, I saw people die, I killed a bunch of people, I went to China and I saw people die and I killed a bunch of people, stuff like that. So I'm very excited for it. I think it'll be really cool to see the teams interact, of course. I'd love it if we get to see like Diggle go and meet the Flash team as well. I think that'll be pretty sweet. But it's definitely going to be funny with Felicity joining the Flash group again, because of course it's Felicity is just always going to be funny there. So that's going to be cool, and seeing of course a DC team up in on the TV shows is going to be pretty sweet. So I'm excited for both of those. I'm curious to see exactly how they do things, like who the villain is going to be, or if they're going to do like multiple villains and stuff like that. I would love to see that. And they, Flash goes to Starling City, and then they both come back and stuff like that. But I think it'll be really good. It's both of the shows are very well written. I'm really excited for it. It's not going to be like insanely intense or anything. I can pretty much guess neither of them are gonna die. No one's gonna die. Everything's just gonna be cool for us fans, and it's just gonna be like a bunch of fan service. So I'm not expecting anything like unbelievably amazing to happen, but they will be in the same show for like 2 full episodes. So that alone is amazing enough for me. But I enjoyed this episode. Excited for the Flash versus Arrow thing. Of course, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys want to see them do with Barry's powers now? I mean, after he did the Mach 1 punch, I thought that was going to be the point where it's like, okay, now he can do anything. And then in this episode, when he gets his powers back, they're basically supercharged. He's kind of officially fused with the abilities that he had. He wasn't just using them, they're just a part of him now. And so now is where he's officially like the Flash, and he can really kick things up. So what do you guys want to see them do next? Because there are a ton of things. Like I mentioned, my favorite thing about his character has always been the phasing through stuff, just because it was always really cool to me, because he can do it, and it's just really sweet to me. I don't know, I've always loved that move. And I think it was because I knew the Flash for a long time before I ever actually saw him do that, and I think I didn't see him do that until the Justice League, and that wasn't for a while when they actually introduced the fact that he could do that even in the Justice League. And of course I was much younger then, so I could be wrong. But I remember liking the Flash for a long time, and then I found out he could do that, and it was like that just instantly became my new favorite power. He's just like running around and stuff, and that's how he found the Batcave. That's how I found that out. He was just like, oh, found it, and he just ran through it. He ran through a wall and stuff. So that's what I want to see them do. But like I said, with that being such a big power for him to have, when he can like literally just phase through like bullets and he doesn't have to dodge anything, I feel like they would save that for much later in the series. But of course, I want to know what you guys want to see. So comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.